2026 fantasy baseball is quickly approaching. I'm going to take a quick look at who you can trust in the first round of your fantasy baseball drafts. We are going to take a quick look at 2025 first round finishers before we get to 2026. So let's quickly run through who those guys are. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani up top are 1A, 1B in 2025. We also have Juan Soto, Kyle Schwarber, Cal Raleigh, Jose Ramirez, a bunch of players that we've seen finish in the top 12 of fantasy baseball before. There are a few names that do stick out to me in this list. We have Perdomo from Arizona. We also have Rafael Devers, who finished in the top 12 hitters. I did leave pitchers off of this list because I am really going to be only talking about hitters you should take in the first round of 2026. With pitching in general, I think you should stay away in the first round. When it comes to pitchers, there's just a little bit too much risk. You do see some finish in the top 12 or top 15. Most pitchers have injury risk and too much fluctuation to be drafted in the first round, in my opinion. Now, notable players that were left out of the top 12 in 2025 are Ronald Acuna Jr. and Kyle Tucker. Now, both were limited due to injury. Ronald Acuna was coming back from the torn ACL, didn't play for the first couple months of the season, so that's understandable why he did not finish in the top 12. And Kyle Tucker dealt with, I believe, a wrist or some type of ankle injury throughout the 2025 season, but he was definitely on pace to finish in the top 12 if you extrapolate his numbers throughout 2025 for a full season. Now, for 2026, I do have Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge as 1A, 1B in 2026 drafts. They are both, no doubt, number one overall type players. 50 homer guys, huge RBI and run upside. They both don't run as much as you'd love to see. The big weapon that they do have is they get on base a lot. Both are around a 40% on base clip or 400 OBP, and they're just players that you can lock in as 2026 first round values. Now, I do have Bobby Witt in this list as well as a lock for finishing in the top 12 hitters. He's coming off a 23 homer, 38 stolen base season. He's definitely a top 10 guy, even with a down homer season in 2025. Now, 2024 and 2023, he did hit 30 plus homers. The fences are also moving in Kansas City, so I do expect that number to tick up a bit, and his sprint speed is still incredible. I expect him to steal a ton of bases as well in 26. The other thing that I love about his game is that he's played 150 more games in all 4 seasons that he's been in the majors. He is a perfect example of clean health and staying on the field. Now, with my 4th player on this list, I do have Ronald Acuna as a first round lock, solely because he's done it before. He has number 1 overall upside, and you can't really say that for many players. So in 2025, if he did play a full season, his pace was 34 home runs and 15 stolen bases, also adding 120 runs as well. The other thing is his sprint speed has stayed relatively the same from 2023 to 2025. Now, he did have 2 ACL surgeries, and obviously that's a big injury, and recovering from that is difficult. I would say the only real concern with Acuna is his health. If he stays healthy, he's definitely on pace to be a first-round type player. Now, coming in at number 5, I do have Juan Soto of the New York Mets. He now has 2 straight 40-homer seasons. He's also consistently been over 100 runs and RBIs for the past 2 seasons. In 2025, he also added 38 stolen bases, which was a massive career high for him. It was definitely an outlier. I don't expect that to continue. I do expect that to decrease. He's always been around like a 10 stolen base type player. So even if that drops a lot, I still see him in the top 12. Now, with Soto, obviously the power's there. RBI and runs are going to be there. And he's another guy that gets on base. He's going to get on base at about a 400 clip, 4 out of every 10 at-bats. Now, at 6, I do have Jose Ramirez. Ramirez has played 5 straight seasons with 152 or more games played. He is literally the ultimate healthy player. He's also finished in the top 12 hitters, I believe, all those seasons or close to it. I definitely consider him a ultimate first round lock. He has stolen 40 bases in each of his past 2 seasons. He also has 30 homer upside every season. If you want a guy with high floor, I would definitely bank on Jose Ramirez being that type of player. He might not have the upside of a Ronald Acuna or even a Juan Soto, but he's always going to have that high floor that guarantees him being a top hitter in the MLB. Now with Corbin Carroll, I do have him as the 7th guy on this list as a first round lock. He did find some power last season. He hit 31 homers and stole 32 bases. So definitely 30-30 upside. He's also probably only going to get better from here on out. He's still a super young player. His sprint speed is still elite. So I don't know if I see him getting back to the 54 stolen bases that he had in 2023. That seems a little bit unrealistic, but I do think he has 40, 45 stolen base upside and 30 homer upside. Even with the stolen bases dropping and him only hitting 30 homers or maybe a little bit less in 2026, I still see him as a top 10 pick in all formats, roto or head-to-head. Now, Julio Rodriguez and Kyle Tucker were the 2 players that I almost didn't put on this list. They both have had an interesting past in the MLB. I'll start with Julio Rodriguez. At the end of the season, he always finds a way to put together solid numbers. To start each season, Julio always starts slow. I don't really know I don't understand why, but he always starts slow. He heats up throughout the season and always ends on a high note. He ended up hitting 32 homers and stole 30 bases, so 30-30 guy, kind of just like Corbin Carroll. I do have Corbin Carroll higher just because of the stolen base upside, but Julio's also only 25 years old. He still has a bright future ahead of him, and I can definitely see those numbers increasing. If he can figure out how to start fast, I think he's a potential top 5 player. Now with Kyle Tucker, he definitely had an injury-riddled 2025 season with the Cubs. He also was playing in a ballpark that wasn't really geared towards him. His power numbers came down a little bit. He did just get signed by the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I do expect that to be an upgraded ballpark for him, also an upgraded lineup as well in Los Angeles. And if he can stay healthy, I definitely can see 30-30 out of him in 2026. Regardless of where he played, I think he is a top 12 hitter. It really just comes down to, is he going to stay healthy? And if he does stay healthy, he's definitely in that top tier echelon type player. Now that he's a Los Angeles Dodger, I can even see more run potential, more RBI potential, probably more homer potential as well. If he were to have played all his games in Los Angeles last year, he would have had 29 homers instead of 23 homers, even with a shortened season. So if he can get to 145, 150 games in 2026, I think you might be looking at a top 10 hitter. That is going to do it. Those 9 players, Ohtani, Judge, Witt, Acuna, Soto, Ramirez, Carroll, Rodriguez, and Tucker, all I think are first-round locks for finishing in the top 12 next season. I should say at the end of 2026. If they stay healthy, all those players should be in the top 12 players as far as hitters go in 2026. And that is going to do it for 2026 first round locks. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button, subscribe below. I will be having a lot more fantasy baseball content as the season gets closer and as we get into the regular season in 2026.